is Darnell. Smoking us all out this morning. Check it out right behind Darnell is Mr. Larry Kelly, the TAV B-25 Panchito. We're going to see these guys flying a little bit later on today. Right behind Larry Kelly, though, that is the world's oldest B-25. That particular aircraft, the one you see right here, it shows center right now, was the personal transport airplane of General Hap Arnold during World War II. Today is appropriately named Miss Hap. It is operated by our friends at the American Air Power Museum out of New York, right up there in the Warhawk. Now, let's watch as Neil Darnell takes his position on the runway with the Flashfire jet truck. You can find out more about them online there at the Flashfire Jet Truck website. A great place. You can go down and see this jet truck in person. Now we're on the Airshow 1 ICP radar. That's awesome, Jay Rabbit. You got that thing off Barney Fife back there in Atlanta, didn't you? Calibrated it, all that good stuff. Man, awesome job, Jay Rabbit. Let's welcome Scott Scooter Yoke. This man flying the P-51, better known as Quicksilver. Scott almost named this airplane Slender and Tender, but he didn't. They named it Quicksilver in honor of all of the veterans that have flown past and present. Coming in behind Scooter Yoke, that's Mr. Andrew McKenna, the all-silver P-51. I would encourage you to go home and look up the Quicksilver Mustang website there and the Facebook page. Check that out. You'll be glad you did. The paint scheme on that airplane truly representative of all of our friends and family who have served the country. There's Andrew McKenna from Pamela Marie. Coming in behind Pamela Marie, the P-51 is a good friend there, and Dan, I think, is flying that one. P-40. A nice little airplane, the P-40 Warhawk, made famous by our friends the Flying Tigers back in the earliest of early days of World War II. That's Jim Tobel, Corsair back there, the bit-wing wonder of the world. We have a number of vintage military airplanes that are here for your viewing pleasure. Now, this is not to glorify war. I want you to hear my words carefully. This is not to glorify war. This is simply to remember the brave warriors that have gone before us, on whose shoulders we stand upon today in this great nation. Everything you see here will take your sights and your senses back to the days of World War II, where this nation stood up and joined forces with our allies and fought back the evils that existed inside to strike the heart of Japan. While the mission was not necessarily a tactical success, it was a huge shot in the arm for the American public. 16 B-25s with 80 brave men launched from the deck of the Hornet on April the 16th, just a few months after the attack at Pearl Harbor. Now, back then, it was not thought possible to fly a B-25 from the deck of an aircraft carrier, but those 80 brave men, the Doolittle Tokyo Raiders, proved them wrong. These two aircraft are representative of the B-25s that launched off the Hornet that morning. Today, there are only two surviving Doolittle Tokyo Raiders. Lieutenant Colonel Cole, who retired a number of years ago from the United States Air Force, is now 100 years young. Still lives alone, still works on his ranch in Texas. He is a true patriot of this country. He was Jimmy Doolittle's co-pilot that morning. The other gentleman who still survives is Dave Thatcher. You may remember him from the movie 30 Seconds Over Tokyo. If you haven't seen the film, he is the hero in the movie. He's also the youngest, and I believe 94 or 95 now. Now approaching from the right, demonstrating the Doolittle pop-up raid maneuver. Watch as the B-25 comes in low. Imagine him coming in over the coast of Japan and able to avoid enemy radar down low. The way they did the surprise attack was just like you're about to see with Larry Kelly and I should say retired Brigadier General George Bartlett. They pull up about 50 feet and drop their bombs. Let's watch how his Panchito does just that. And now, on the right, our next B-25 demonstrating the Doolittle pop-up raid maneuver. glorify war, but I would ask you to remember our Doolittle Raiders and all of our B-25 air crews, just like General Bartlett, who's flying in Panchito today. Stand up and cheer if you knew a World War II veteran for this next one, because here it is, the world's oldest flying B-25, simulating the Doolittle pop-up raid. That's Mishap, and it's bombs away. Struck in the heart of the Japanese on April the 16th, although not a tactical success, was a boost for the American people. If you survived 9/11, then you remember the pain that you felt in your heart the following morning. How could our country be attacked this way? Well, that's the same thing these men and women felt in 1941. The airplane that you see right here, that was shock and awe for 1940s. The B-25, better known as the A-10 of its generation, packed a punch. It had a side load of package guns. There's a top turret bristled with bullets as well. A tail turret and a number of other weapons on that aircraft, including, get this, just 3,000 pounds of bombs. Later in World War II, the Sky Raider could carry more armament than the B-17, the heaviest bomber. It was available for most of the war until the B-24 and the B-29 came online. But just think about how far we've come. The tiny F-16 out in front could carry more than this airplane could in World War II. The crews who flew these airplanes, now I want you to think about this. The crews who flew these airplanes in World War II, just like General Bartlett, they had less than the chance at survival as they did of winning a coin toss. Now you can do the math on that. They said, put me in, coach. Put me in. They knew the odds, and they still signed up for these dangerous missions. I want you to leave here today with an understanding of what our brave men and women who won that war sacrificed and what they did for our great nation 68 years ago. The Air Force formed. Now you do the math on this. We just celebrated the anniversary of the end of World War II, the 70th. These airplanes were flying before the Air Force even existed. And back then, there was an elite group of people that we called the greatest generation, many of our grandparents, who answered our nation's call. They fought back the evils that existed in the world back then. And today, all of our brave men and women who serve in this great nation, they stand upon their shoulders. The two B-25s that are orbiting today, right here at Joint Base Andrews, they represent some of the bravest men from World War II, our Doolittle Tokyo Raiders, who truly answered the call after the December 7th attack. We thank them, we salute them, and we want you to leave here today with a picture of these two aircraft, because we're going to do something really special. Major Crum, I know the social media sites here are buzzing right now for the Joint Base Andrews Airshow. A little airshow by request came in this morning on the Facebook page for the show. We're going to do a photo pass courtesy of, who was it that asked? It was a young boy by the name of Benjamin that asked on the Facebook page for a photo pass. We're going to do it right now. We've lined this up again. Flying for you today on board the DAV B-25, the Disabled American Veterans B-25. That's the lead airplane right now, circling back. Get this, a World War II vet, General Bartlett, is on board this aircraft. He's flying as a safety pilot. The man has, and I want this to sink into you. He went from 1 strike to 1 star during World War II, enlisted in 43. And flew 75 combat missions in the Pacific on board the B-25 Mitchell, just exactly like the one you see here. Panchito, a representation of the B-25 Panchito that flew in the Pacific. And today, on board, a true Pacific war hero, a B-25 crew member from World War II, General Bartlett. Take a picture of this and remember it, that you saw a true hero, an American hero on board that aircraft right here at Joint Base Andrews, celebrating 68 years of Air Force history. Check it out as our B-25 Panchito rocks up on the wing and gives you a great image to take home with you today. Ladies and gentlemen, the personal transport of General Hap Arnold in World War II. the man who knew about air power, the founding father, if you will, of our United States Air Force today. This was his airplane in World War II. Take a picture of this B-25 as it comes by, celebrating 68 years of Air Force heritage. General Hap Arnold's personal airplane celebrating here with us today. Joy Base Andrews, it doesn't get much better than this. Absolutely none of the Doolittle Raiders made it back to base that morning. They took off from the Hornet. They had nowhere to land. They had to crash, many of them. Only one actually landed. It landed in Russia. But the free Chinese people, they rescued the Doolittle Raiders. 250,000 plus Chinese died. They were killed by the Japanese for their aid on the Doolittle Raiders. We thank them today as well for our Doolittle Raiders' safety. Now, the sound of the Magic Merlin and the P-51 Mustang. The mighty Mustang, the P-51, known as the Cadillac of the sky. The foremost fighter of the war, it replaced the P-40 that you see taking off, which served early in the conflict. The AVG fighters had also served abroad in a number of the Allied nations. The P-40 made famous by men who lived right here in D.C. like John Allison, as well as Tex Hill, Claire Chennault. Men who answered the call before our nation was ready to go to war, the Fighting Tigers, the Flying Tigers, as they were known, who flew the P-40s. The Corsair, also an aircraft, served in the Pacific, made famous by men like Pappy Boyd and his Black Sheep Squadron. You've seen the bombers, the business end of air power. Now you're going to see the fighter demonstration. Ladies and gentlemen, high and to the right. We're going to show you a simulated strafing run of the P-51 D model Mustang. You're going to hear Scooter as he rolls in on the target. I want you to listen to the sound of the gun barrels as it comes by on a high-speed strafing run pass. Andrew McKenna will be following him. Both of these young men, they understand the history and they're doing their part to preserve it. Let's watch now as Scott Scooter Yoke in the P-51 Mustang Quicksilver enter the strafing run. Close behind him, Andrew McKenna down and dirty on the right in the P-51 D model.
Oh, here you go.
Slight adjustment. Now he sees him. And a direct hit for Andrew McKenna. Close behind the P-40 Warhawk. Red nose and shark teeth. Scaring the enemy away just with the paint scheme alone. And now, Jim Torton-Tobel, F4U Corsair, comes in low and on the deck. The Japanese, they called this aircraft the Whistling Death because of the sound that it made when it came by. Jim Tobel, though, he's on to power. He says he has plenty. And look at that climb out on the F4U Corsair. The Mustang, truly the icon of American aviation. During World War II, Mustang pilots claimed nearly 5,000 enemy aircraft shoot-downs. Despite the advent of jet fighters, the P-51 Mustang remained with some air forces until the early 1980s. The Mustang that Scooter flies was handcrafted from a variety of different parts and pieces that he and his father found along the way. His dad, one of the earliest of early workers at Skunk Works, laid metal on the airplane we saw land earlier, the U-2. Andrew McKenna's P-51, look at this. A nice 4-point hesitation roll by McKenna. A resident of Arlington, Virginia, you see this aircraft fly along the D.C. area quite often. Andrew McKenna volunteers his airplane for funeral services at Arlington Cemetery out of the graces of his own heart because he understands the sacrifices made by our military family members. So if you see that silver P-51, you know what it is. The P-40 from Long Island is part of the American Air Power Museum. A beautiful aircraft, a Jackie C.
Where I'm going, I should throw another tip.
And now in from the right, from Bamberg, South Carolina, Jim Torque Tobel, the Korean War hero, the F-4U Corsair. This aircraft, an actual vet of the Korean War, flown by a number of famous pilots. Tobel Corsair, beautiful aircraft, an outstanding performance by Jim Tobel.
Oh, okay.
We're watching for Scooter up there, high to the right. Scott Yoke, the reigning king of the P-51 aerobatic demonstration. Let's watch him now as he comes down low. A nice, huge pull. Let's see what Scott has up his sleeve. A nice little aileron roll for you. With a 90-degree turnout, going back around. He and McKenna are really having a great time. Both of these men under the age of 40. Andrew McKenna, a gorgeous barrel roll right here at Show Center. Look at them. Just gorgeous on that P-51 as it comes around. The high shine of the polished aluminum, the sound of the Merlin.
Okay, cool.
What a treat to be here at Joint Base Andrews today to see these aircraft in action. And now swinging around, not to be outdone, our P-40 Warhawk this morning. Cookie, we used to ride around with one of the Flying Tigers back in the early days of the airshow business. You may remember Tex Hill. Used to ride around in my dad's old pickup truck at the airshows and tell me stories of the Flying Tigers. You know what? Back then it was just Tex Hill. That's all he was. I didn't realize that he was a brigadier general when I was only 5 or 6 years old. What an American hero, though, you know?
Absolutely. I had an opportunity to meet Tex Hill at Randolph Air Force Base in Texas, where he was living at the time. An awesome, awesome gentleman. As you see Jim Tobel do a nice aileron roll and look up right at the top, makes the right-hand turn.
What a guy, too. Look at Scooter down here. Down on the deck. Now he's not going to be outdone. Look at this. A nice 4-point roll by Quicksilver. Scooter does one of the only 5-point rolls symbolizing the Pentagon and all of the different service organizations that we have here, our armed services in the United States. I thought he was going to do it there, but he only gave us a 4, you know? That's Scooter. What are you going to do?
It's math.
It is math. It's all math. He's from West Virginia, by the way, so, you know, fuzzy math, as he likes to say. Here goes Andrew again. Another 4-point hesitation roll for us. Tucking it in tight, showing you the capability of this airplane. Andrew's going to duck back out and head to Manassas here in a few minutes where he keeps this aircraft. Again, if you see an airplane doing a flyover at Arlington National Cemetery, it's probably Andrew McKenna. A few weeks ago, he and 3 other buddies did a nice flyover there at the Air Force Memorial. Great flyover. P-40, again, a legendary aircraft. The backbone of World War II. Just imagine being at Pearl Harbor and seeing those 2 P-40s take off to defend themselves against the Japanese. Now the Corsair coming around. Airshow buyer request here as we see our next Mustang into the paddock here. Another aerobatic pass here. We have, I believe, a moment here for Airshow by request. We're going to get this one in here for Jeff Lee, who's down here from Live Airshow TV. He's supposed to be at the Reno Air Races, but not here this week. He wanted to come here and celebrate 68 years of Air Force history and Joint Base Andrews. He's here to take some pictures of this photo pass here for Scooter Yo coming by. Check this one out. Andrew McKenna coming around here. Now you may you like the rolls and the loops here that we've seen, but I'm telling you, Jim, the photo pass is always the crowd favorite.
Absolutely.
Scooter does, and Andrew, they do some of the best photo passes in the business. Scooter's going to wrap this thing around tight over here on the right, and he's going to come through here, roll the wing up. He's going to be so close you will be able to see the undershirt that he has on. Tell him.
No.
The guy is good. He's good, Jim. Just watch. Just watch.
Okay.
Just watch him. There's Tobel. What is he doing in that Corsair? Look at this. Oh, he's just showing off a slow 4-point roll in the Corsair. That is a gorgeous airplane. You know what I mean? Beautiful airplane.
Beautiful award-winning airplane.
Award-winning aircraft, yeah. Sun, Fun, and Oshkosh, which is sort of the Pebble Beach. You know, if you're familiar with the Pebble Beach of the car world, well, Oshkosh is aviation's Pebble Beach. All right, Scooter Yoke calling into Wayne Boggs, our celebrity air boss in the tower up there, saying that they're going to do a photo pass. As requested by Mr. Lee, we're going to get this one on film for you here in just a second. He's coming around. Now watch him. The Scooter's kind of a sneaky dude. He likes to sneak up on everybody. He's going to wrap this airplane around. He's going to crank it out. The Mustang, of course, capable of 437 miles per hour, a very fast aircraft. We're going to see it in the photo pass as he racks it around and really cranks in some power for you. He's building up some smash up there on the right. Here's Tobel again. This one's for Jaylee, I believe. You wanted to see a slow roll from the Corsair. We worked that one in. Again, join up with the Joint Base Andrews Facebook page. We'll try and do our part for Airshow by request. Here we go. Fighters in for the photo pass. Watch the tower. Hey, Air Boss, is the pattern full or are we open for these guys? We're seeing if he's up there. Yeah, boss, announcer wants to know if the pattern is full. Are we good, sir?
The pattern is not full.
Don't spill your coffee box. Look at that. Scooter Yoke giving the guys in the control tower a great look. And how about it, folks? Scooter Yoke and Quicksilver. Here he comes, Andrew McKenna down on the right. Giving him a great look at the P-51 Mustang. Check it out, folks. The P-40 Warhawk inbound for a photo pass now high and to the right.
I like that. That profile guy. That's true. Yes. They always fly. Those are the guys that always fly. Yeah, they definitely need something.
Here comes our P-40. High and to the right, diving in for another photo finish here, the P-40 Warhawk. P-40 Warhawk, a gorgeous aircraft. Again, the backbone of the Americans, the Allied Air Force. A number of those P-40s went on to serve with Allied countries during the war and saw great service along with a number of other aircraft like the Air Cobra and the King Cobra. These were aircraft that joined the Lend-Lease program and went abroad to our allies. The F-4U Corsair, the Korean War hero, flown today by Jim Tobel. We're going to change gears here in just a moment and give you a look at some of these historic warbirds, namely the Corsair and the Mustang. Scott Yoke and Jim Tobel, two men that have grown up in the airshow industry. They know and understand this because it was passed on to them from their fathers.
Next up is the class of 45.
You getting some good shots?
The Mustang and the Corsair have both been in these families for a long, long time. They tell such a great story for our American airmen. And now we're going to begin a little routine that we like to affectionately call the class of 19 45, the class of 45. The class of 45, a beautiful formation act.